We're already in the action. We're already controlling the draft. We weren't even here. Without it. We're going to be a fast 8.
Yeah. Look at this aggression in towards the A tunnels. Perks gets one. The bomb actually is out there alone. The bomb site is under control. And if Perks knew, I think he would have fought back. But unfortunately, it is crumbled. There's one player in towards Temple. That is Panics, but he's got so much to do. There's so much space taken in towards CT. They haven't seen anybody donut. They know that the A tunnels is clear. I think somebody was looking towards this. B-Stick is not. So that's one is found. But now these two can play off the back of each other. Oscar still unsighted. Double peeking. Bit awkward, but the frags are found, and that's a pistol round for Sinners.
Yeah, pistol round goes in favor of the T's. Great work by Oscar. A triple for him, double for Quartz. And Quartz is one of the names, by the way, which we haven't mentioned yet. I feel like when you ask that question, if it's not Chuck, if it's not Oscar, who's going to be the other guy? Who's going to be the second rifler to be able to pack a punch? I feel like it has to be Quartz, man. I mean, I know that obviously he is the lurker. He doesn't get some of the best roles on CT side, but he is the youngest guy on the lineup. Obviously, B-Stick being the IGL and opening up a lot of space, being a bit more support-orientated nowadays, puts him in a position where we can't really require big numbers from him. And then Zetko's kind of out there every now and then. He's going to have a big game, but most of the time, he's just going to be solid. So I guess Quartz is a name to focus on. He's going to get the chance to farm a couple eco kills here. Eventually meets his end, but gets a double.
It's true for both of these teams, but they've both got that kind of, I say an issue, just a reality of if you want to play domestically as one country, you're going to be limiting your player pool. Now, alternate attacks do have to fight against Big Academy, Sprout at times as well. So it does hurt them a tad, but for Sinners especially, there really isn't a lot of options. So you have to bring up a player like Quartz and say, even if he's a rough diamond, we've got to make this work. There just isn't. There's no depth here. We can't look in different directions. So I do hope Quartz has been given all of those resources to really maximize his potential, because that's what they need from him.
Yeah, and we are seeing some really good talents from the Czech scene. PR in the previous game was one. I know that Freezy isn't Czech, but that was a good way to open things up here. All alone, by the way, sent towards middle, and he manages to mow down both Shock and Oscar. That's a good start to the first buy round for alternate attacks, and Freezy's actually going for more. That's a really risky rifle swap, and he hasn't picked up the AK. Now he will, and that's given time to Zetko to get closer. Freezy, gotta get out of there. Want to make sure you're not giving yourself away for free. It was a little bit risky to actually stick around middle all alone for such a long time, but he's still able to get out of dodge.
Very passive from alternate attacks. No real surprises. They are leaving B just with Spiddy. So this mid engagement does need to stay at least in their favor. And look at the mini-map. I'm starting to question this rotation. Spiddy rightfully is given as the only thing he had in his favor was being, not quite in the know of whether he's actually sticking it or not. And wow, that could have been game changing. That would have been money snapped for alternate attacks.
Yeah.
Whew. That's a tough pill to swallow. That really would have been Sinners off to a perfect T-side start. It would have been eco for alternate attacks. It would have been 3-1. It would have been a bit of money in the bank too. And now it's the total opposite. Now they've got to make a hard decision about whether to give this a save, and yeah, they will.
Yeah, and it did look like, for a second, by the way, I was about to commend Zetko, because it felt like he was just not buying it. It felt like he was as cool as a cucumber, and he knew it was just a tap, right? For a second there, it felt like he was just lurking around the smoke, getting closer, and just calling the bluff, but it eventually started spamming, and yeah, didn't work out. As you pointed out, it's just the pistols. Not that the damage has been bad so far. I mean, 1 kill, a goosh onto Alzek. Gonna make him respect him a little bit more. Still, the AVP is posted on the angle. It has another rifle to support, so some crisp shots needed, and Oscar gets another. The damage is not bad, especially if Zetko gets one more. Doesn't have the bomb on his back as of now, but he's picked up a Nog. If he gets that 1 deke, he's going to switch to the rifle. Alzek is low on HP. Zetko doesn't have armor, though, so aim point is going to be a massive issue, and it just makes it nearly impossible for him to win that fight.
Alrighty, back on the guns. Back on the guns for Sinners. See what they have to offer. This is their map pick, remember. And as you said, so a very similar series to this not too long ago. The difference being Overpass out this time from return attack. So I guess there are a few things to be gleaned. I think the difficulty coming into this series, if you return attacks, is you can't ignore the Slack situation. Yes, panics. He knows his players. I'm sure he knows a lot of the rounds they're running. Yeah. But there is sort of, I'll be blunt, there's a bit of a kind of getting back with your ex sort of situation. Of like, hey, Panics has just come back.
It depends on how the breakup went.
Probably not brilliant, I imagine.
I mean, he was the first choice to come back, so I'd say there is maybe a chance that it was just him being.
That's what I'm saying to
in.
the next girl. You were the first choice to be my second option. Just like, you were the first choice.
Okay, you know what? There's two options. We close our left eye and just look through the right and make it work, or you try and be smart about it. We can be efficient. Oh. That's just missed.
Oof,
that
was better.
Yeah, great recovery from Panics. Second up one. Second bullet on the up does a miss. Splash through the smoke. That's awkward. Quirce has actually found a double, but Burst has been able to push through the smoke in the meantime. They've traded places, but Quirce is just taking player after player. This is phenomenal from him, but finally goes down. And it has to be Shock. A 2 and 4 star for him. Looking for the 1 KD. He's going to get mollied off. Have they heard that? I'm not sure. He's going to smoke. He's waiting for the timing. There's a second molly. Yeah, he's going to have to extinguish that. Has a flash as well. He's going to try and win himself some space to work with, but Alzik confirms the kill. No one was on the bomb either way. They just tapped it to bait out the peak. Shock had to send it. An alternate attacks retake it once again. The bomb plant is a little bit of a salvation award, I guess, for Sinners right now, but it's a pretty optimistical, pretty positive start on that defensive side of things. Don't you think, Alan?
Yeah, but equally, just as PR did on Inferno earlier today, Quirce is going to be looking at his teammates saying, I've just won you the round. I've just got him behind this donut smoke, killed everybody, and couldn't get it over the line. So I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him. I hope all the young chaps watching on are enjoying the relationship advice as well. Two different tactics. Yeah. And this round is fast.
Live coach, Alan.
Exactly. I coach all aspects. I help somewhat. Not always. Rarely.
Sometimes. Occasionally.
Never.
Oh. Well, Breezy's going to try and be a little bit more helpful in this round. Oh, that's all. Oscar's just spammed them through. The half by, I think, will make it work. Panics is already thinking about the save, by the way. You can tell by the body language. Burks is going to try and find a kill. And now, you send it. Now you found that kill. Both players are actually isolated towards the cave, but there is a boost for Oscar, who's just spamming through. I'm not sure if they've spotted him. Now they realize what's going on, and they're going to be on the bomb. Tech9 spamming through the wood. Not connecting yet, and they're not able to get them off of the defuse in time. Oscar might actually get every single kill. Never mind. Ammo's off. It's really awkward, and alternate attacks get another somehow.
This is juicy. This is what I wanted. This is same as the series earlier. Every round is absolutely beautiful. Just absolute carnage. People are sticking the bomb while others are still alive. I love it. It is beautiful. And I'll tell you what, Alternate Attacks, they're winning rounds, but if they lose one here, their money is in the bin. It is an absolute catastrophe. They are probably double eco. So they're on the brink of this still being a very troublesome CT half.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that's the thing that you should have to the back of your mind, right? And usually you see that happening to younger teams. They're just they just overflow. Would happen is because of winning those clutches, but then they don't realize their money's actually in shambles. And this is what alternate attacks should be thinking about right now. Okay, we're winning the rounds, but we gotta focus at least when it's an anti-half buy, anti-eco to keep it a little bit cleaner, right? When it's up to the full buy rounds, if you're winning clutches, I guess it's fine. Maybe long-term is not something to gamble on, but it's more acceptable. At least against the pistols, you gotta strengthen up the money. And Zetko, he's not gonna get hard cleared. Breezy overlooks him. Brooks is gonna try and go for the refrag. Zetko's still dancing around, and it's a really good response elsewhere, by the way. Sinners have lost so many people that Shock once again left himself all alone, or found himself all alone in a 1 versus 3. Perks behind the box. Gonna be the first one to probably fall down. But still, Zetko has to, or Shock has to sprint all the way back, pick up the bomb, and then play the 1 versus 2. Now he knows where Speedy is, but the ops posted on the angle. Should have the kill any moment now. And there it goes. Panics confirms it. 6 rounds on the board. Again, you lose a lot of members, but no bomb plant for Sinners. Equals, well, doesn't equal half buy for now, but yeah, I actually thought they would have a lower amount of money than they actually do. So it doesn't equal anything.
What I like saying in these situations is this has been a half of moral victories for Sinners. They've done so much good job keeping the money low, so much good work keeping this on the brink, but they've now lost. Well, especially the afterplant earlier was more egregious, but they had another opportunity there on the half buy to break the cash. And at some point, Sinners just need rounds, man. They can't go into the second half just with these moral victories. You can't take those to the bank, and they've got to convert soon. Oscar, good start. Boosted up. Speedy dead. That's more like it.
Yeah, aTTaX gonna try and go in with the flash, but now they've slowed things down. This is the first time that they've actually had the comfortable man advantage, but look at the stack. Alternate attacks. They have every single one of their players towards that bomb side, and aTTaX has just collected a double and dropped the bomb right in front of Oscar. One refrac is a silver lining, but Oscar in the meantime will get absolutely shocked from behind from Freezy, and guess what? It's a deja vu shock. A 1 versus 2 doesn't have the bomb, and they seem to have an idea on where he's coming from. Freezy's holding for it. Even if Shock wins that fight, there's one more coming in from long, and Shock should be dead to rights any moment. Now, actually, had a little bit of a chance there. It went through his mind, but aTTaX was already out of the angle and picking up the fight. It's another clutch that goes in favor of alternate attacks. And at this point, if you're Sinners, you go for the tactical timeout. What do you talk about? I mean, you haven't been calling badly. It's not like the rounds haven't been close, but you're just not winning.
Well, certainly for that one, I guarantee you somebody's frustrated thinking, how are they 3B after we had an entry? How do they have so many numbers here? But alternate attacks, they did the right thing. They just took a bit of a risk, and you got to do that sometimes man down. And equally, Sinners, they weren't super fast. They didn't capitalize on their gap, and they didn't probe elsewhere on the map. So it's kind of just desserts. They didn't feel out the stack, and a team like them with their experience should know that a team's going to do something. They're not just going to sit back two to each site and just let them get rolled over on an execute.
Yeah, you would always want to commend them at the end, because I felt like I was getting the feeling of them just slowing things down in the 4v3 and just waiting for the CTs to make a reaction, which would be the most adequate way to approach it, probably, right? Or otherwise, you just send it right after you get the kills. Those are your 2 chances. But in the moment that you still commit to the side, but you've shown some insecurity in the way of, you know, slowing things down, but still being fairly committed to the idea, is you haven't done the... Well, you haven't gone for option A, you haven't gone for option B. It's something in the middle, and it just didn't work out.
A man that needs credit is aTTaX. We look at this lineup, we say there's a bit of fluctuations, there's a bit of uncertainties, and aTTaX is the biggest part of that, just by virtue of being back in the lineup so soon after Slax's departure. But he's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant on the defense, and, you know, far from being a liability, he's getting opening kills, he's been on the move, he's been making it difficult for Sinners, he's been helping with those stacks as well. When we get late round, he's been a pivotal part towards this strong defense so far.
Yeah, I feel like there is a couple of reasons for that. Of course, he is back to communicating in German, and then he could be a bit more well set up here for success. Well, Beastic is going to set himself up for a nice opening here. Takes down Speedy. It's another man advantage situation for the Sinners, and now they've slowed it down a little bit. They're hoping that Freezy gives them something, and he's actually been left all alone. Alternate attacks have made a gamble once again, but this time it's not the right one. Freezy still receives a massive flash and gets a kill, but the refract will be imminent, so aTTaX needs to be the hero. He's betted out the shot of the AVP. He's gonna go for a bit of a deeper angle, but Zetko wins the fight. Bomb should go down, and finally, alternate attacks turn around and go for a save.
That's more like it. That is much more like it. Of course, there's some entries in the last round, but this time, getting up behind them, getting aggressive, finishing blow. And the storyline we've talked about this entire half so far is, yes, return attacks, they've already got a good CT haul, especially with MR12, but they have no cash in reserve. They have to hold on to these rifles, and I think they will. But the next buy, and they've got to go into it, I think, is going to be sketchy and then some. Dropping Deagles, maybe, perhaps an MP9 off aTTaX, but outside of that, it's going to be some grim viewing.
Yeah, aTTaX has to the penny enough money to drop over a FAMAS, right? He's going to have exactly $2,000 or $2,050. But that's about it. Drops over the FAMAS, and from that point on, Oh no, it's actually an MP9. Yeah. And I think I've just messed the price of FAMAS. FAMAS is what? I didn't just do that, right? It is 250. Oh no, wait. It's 250. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
wasn't
bad.
it? Hang on a minute. This is too much maths for me. Come on, this is too much. Can't be doing
It says
this.
no. It is $2,050.
I thought
I'm
it
right.
was. It used to be
I'm right.
250, and then they got slashed it by 200 with the
Yeah, they
glue.
reduced it. Yeah, I was right. So he just decided to drop over an MP9. Okay, I got really confused there. I was like, there's no way I got the price.
We need
wrong.
panics for post-game interview for this.
Yeah.
We need to know what happened. Either way, we've got 2 in the A tunnels for this T side, so I wonder if it can be a bit of a mid-split. Yes, B-Stick is still out towards B at the moment, but very committed to these tunnels. Oscar, I guess he's waiting for this smoke to fade, and then he can take a bit of a duel, hoping somebody crosses towards Temple. He's sat on a very deep line at the moment. Here we go. Zedco in. Freeze is down. Perks up next. Zedco is taking names, taking heads like it's his middle name. Just need to smoke here on towards Donut, and surely it looks good. Oh my lord. Panic should never have been given a second duel for free there. Rotator in as well. Beastic is on the other side of the map. Quirtz is lucky to be alive. This is a mess and then some. And Beastic needs to get over to help his teammates.
Yeah, Speedy's gonna get up close with a 5-7 as well. Somehow this round is still competitive. Somehow after everything that Zedco has done on the double entry, aTTaX still might have a chance to steal it away, especially had Speedy actually been able to convert this skill. Finally, Oscar lands the shot, and Panix is left in a 1v3. Thank God at this point they should be ready for him, and Quirtz manages to tag him down. Panix is seen enough, 13-5. He's had a really good map so far, but that has to be the save. And you can see them on the minimap, by the way. They want to make sure he doesn't hold on to the AVP. They realize this is the last thing that aTTaX have left.
All of them could hunt here, because even an AWP can come off Quirtz in the next.
Oh.
There's B-Stick. That's all they had. That's all they had in the next round. It's going to be pistol armor. Now at best. Perfect stuff from Sinners. They're really capitalizing on this late chance to break the money. And that round was a bit hectic. I mean, they could have done a lot better job of clearing out Donut. I mean, you see here, Zedco has a smoke, but the spacing just... It's the second man here that allows Panic to take another duel, when surely there would have had to have been some util to put down. It's a little bit too much.
Oh, that's going to be a little bit quicker. Just pistols, as we said. No money for aTTaX going into this one, so we should be fairly straightforward in favor of Sinners. And so far, it has been. Great work by Zedco. Panic just sent himself, I think is the right way to describe it. He put himself out there. He's out there.
I like to think the Zedco's running in saying, Neofrag who? And he just gets uber aggressive and is like, we don't need him. We don't need him. Yeah, this looks pretty much done, doesn't it? Should be 7-5.
Boy.
Exactly. Well, they're going to attempt a retake. There are flashes to get through this smoke. Here it comes. Perks is through, but that was always going to be a day late and a dollar short. It's going to be 7-5 in the favorable return attack. All in all, a good half. But Sinners, a healthy recovery. Here at the end, surely Spiddy is not long for this world. Indeed, he isn't. Good half.
Yeah, 5-7 at the end. I feel like this is the definition of Sinners making the best out of a really unfortunate situation, right? Considering the amount of close rounds that they lost at the start, the damage that they were doing, the fact that we were even joking about, I feel like the amount of times that Sinners have said good job and well played NT after the end of a round, right? Where they've actually done a really good job, and it's not just cheering up your teammates, right? They've actually done the right thing, but haven't been able to convert around, and you're still able to get away with 5 rounds. That could have been a really successful T side here for the Czech side. Of course, I guess the opposing argument could be made that this is their map pick, so if you're aTTaX, you're still happy, even though it's only 2 rounds ahead, and that doesn't guarantee you much. If you get the pistol round, then you get the conversions here on the T side. If you manage to catch that wave of momentum early on, you could be running away with your opponent's map pick here.
Gotta be the mentality. Underway. What is the nadage? A lot of nadage actually for that T side. A couple smokes, Molly and a flashbang.
Looks like an A rush by the nades, I think. Double smoke, flash molly.
Could be. Could be. It might be something. I would have thought BXQ. Maybe it's going to be a mid take into then decide. I love those sort of pistols where you have your options open.
Yeah, that's why you send Alzik in front of the B bomb site.
Yeah, let's see how they pivot. Window smoke is down. There's nobody in donut to cause them a lot of trouble, but Shock gets the kill before the smoke is fully bloomed. Come on, guys.
They want to go cave, smoke short, play B. Quartz is up close though. Julie's could be dangerous. Never mind. Absolutely deleted by Perks, and now the B bomb side is actually quite vacant, you know, unless Shock's is the other one. Shock produces something brilliant, but it's Speedy to shut down both him and Oscar, and the bomb's gonna go down. B-Stick and Z go in a 2 versus 4 retake. That should not be happening.
Yeah, this is a bloodbath. A grand total of 3 bullets or something rattled off by those 4 pistols between the Julies on the defense before they got assassinated. And I was scared for alternate attacks. They lost the first player going out mid before the window smoke had bloomed. Fortunately for them, Sinners were leaning the wrong way. I really think if they're playing something like double dark, double in towards Jaguar, that could have been a nightmare. As they came in for the take, but they just overwhelmed that pistol player before they could really get into the fight with the Julies.
Yeah. By the way, this is starting to look a lot more like the previous time that we saw those two play, right? In the CCT Central Europe Series game that we mentioned. And I just want to say something quite funny. Sinners obviously won that game. It was 16-14 on Ancient in favor of Sinners, 16-14 then in favor of Alternated Attacks on Inferno, and 13-7 on Anubis in favor of Sinners. So yes, it was a game on CS2. They just played 16-14s on the first 2 maps, and Ancient was one of them. And Alternated Attacks won the CT side on Ancient 8-4 back then. So it was a pretty similar story to what we're seeing right now, and the game went into overtime.
Wow. That is aggressive. And this round already looks done. Oscar, I don't think Scout is the gun for this moment. Trying to get fights, but he's just enveloped. Oscar gone. And that B defense on this force by non-existent, really, these 2 remaining guys. Great for them to save, but even that is looking like a tall order.
You know what? Speedy's been looking fairly sharp. I mean, sharper than what I remember him to be. Probably he's had some of that JT medicine, some of that breakfast.
It's the glasses.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
It's really funny because a lot of people now actually don't remember that Speedy used to be quite a vital part of the highest level of German CS, right? I mean, he is the player that's played 7 majors. He's played 4 with Mouse, 1 with Sprout, 2 with Penta. He's a 2-time major quarter finalist as well. If that's even a title. He played him with Penta. It was ESL 1 Katowice 2015 and then DreamHack Winter 2014. You know, he played with people like Dennis, Crystal, Nex, Felix, all of those names I'm pretty sure you haven't heard in a while.
No, that's for sure. Beasting! Ah! Ah! Let's all calm down.
Are you right?
That was too much. I was just so ready to.
You got really excited there, didn't you?
To peek out, let's say, but
yeah,
it was just.
That's one way to call it. I'm sure James loves peeking out before the start of his games.
I'm just absolutely blued out right now. That is bad. Can't believe it. It looks so good.
That was
so
great.
good to, peek wide and do his stuff. Couldn't.
Go. Oh, come over and say CS isn't a horror game. Speedy still manages to react in time. I'm sure we're gonna see a replay of that. That was crazy. That was great. I loved it. Fuiko as well for Sinners, so it's all lost in the end. I'm pretty sure they had a good laugh about it as well.
Yeah, a good content idea for CCT is caster reaction cams, because my face when he missed that would have been a treat.
You know what? I feel like as much as I'd like watching something like that, I feel like I'd enjoy it. I wouldn't enjoy seeing myself there.
You just gotta embrace it.
You know what? Sometimes it goes crazy, you know. Sometimes our reactions are a bit interesting, but hey, in the name of the game, in the name of entertainment. First buy round for Sinners in the second half. It's a must-win if they want to still have a chance to recover their map pick, and it's a quick 1-for-1 towards middle. Quartz is making steps, making his presence known when going for those fights. So player behind him through the smoke might want to swing, and aTTaX does exactly that. Quartz out of the equation. It's a 2 versus 4 early on, a massive shutdown from alternated attacks, and now they can just slow it down and let Sinners come into them.
Yeah. Freeze call for them. Drop the pace. Sinners are the team that have to make a reaction. Actually, it almost feels like Oscar's already saying we're saving. Maybe Beastic should go and play the same site as him. And then maybe we at least have something going into the following round. This just feels nearly impossible. Beastic will have to get a colossal timing, and they do line up. It was just too much to ask. And Oscar, brother, just save. Nothing else you can do.
You know what? That actually had some potential. Beastic could have mauled both of them down. He hasn't been having the best game of his life though recently. I mean, he's on 4-13, and it just hasn't been going his way so far on Ancient. Hasn't been going Sinners' way as well. They were able to kind of salvage that first half, but ever since the switch, they haven't really gotten into the position of finding any comfort, right? At this point, I feel like this game is still winnable, but they need something to go in their way. And now you're looking at 11, potentially 12. I feel like the next round, they absolutely need that AVP, and they need Oscar to go huge. I'm not sure if I'm favoring their chances to come back from a 5-12 deficit.
Oh, no!
No way!
Oh, of course, the bomb radiuses went up a bit.
The bomb killed him in Donut.
Yeah, I mean,
There was 4 people around him. I was waiting for him to get shot, and then the bomb does it.
Such a shame, because they're so far down on rounds. I don't blame them for... They're actually only going to half buy. I wouldn't actually blame them for fully going in here, because 7 in a row is a tall order.
Yeah.
And I think maybe with the AWP up, maybe also potentially a drop from Oscar, if he could have dropped with FAMAS or something. Maybe there was a scope here to buy around it, but look at this investment. They got to make it work, haven't they? Or this game is so far gone.
Yeah, it is. Shock still manages to answer back, but it's just such a heavy push towards the A lobby. Sinners can just, or alternate attacks can, just react towards the B bomb side. And Shock is going to be too far away. He's actually not the one with the rifle. It's Quartz to pick
Stay
it up,
still, Panics. Stay still.
Yeah.
Please.
Zedko. Wait a second. Zedko. Oh my god. No, he's picked up a double. He's made it a triple. Hold on. Zedko's just saved your lives. This Panic in a 1 versus 4. Zedko's done an absolute madness. Panics. He's going to try and save this one up. They have no kit. He knows. But he needs to land every single shot, and he's just going to give it away. He's going to try and get out of there, but Zedko claims every single soul available in the server. It's a 4K for him, and there you have it. We were wondering who the hero was going to be. Who would it need to be if it's not Shock, if it's not Oscar? Apparently, it's Zedko.
Are we allowed to show material like that on Twitch? That is absolutely ridiculous. Absurd.
Yeah.
Sinners had 4 alive and a 3-man flank from mid, and it's Zedko alone gets through the short smoke, gets 3 kills, and the closer as well. That should have been map. That should have been game over for Sinners, but a lifeline handed. This man Zedko is getting into form, and they have to capitalize upon it if they're going to stay in this game. They have to keep finding rounds. 2 fast kills here, and Zedko is relentless. He's a monster. He's getting in behind. He has no intentions of letting this map slip away to alternate attacks.
Absolutely not. Great hold towards A, but that's just setting up Zedko for another massive multi-kill. Oh, right in front of him. He's playing the trigger discipline, realizes he doesn't need to. His teammates are doing just fine, so he can confirm that 1 kill. It's a clean round on the defense for Sinners. And now, the comeback is on the cards. And alternate attacks are going to be feeling quite sorry about this one. As you said, it feels like the previous round had to be the breaking of the back.
They need to pause, you know. They should have paused after losing that round.
I feel like this is that type of a round after which you just want to cool off.
You have to
even
pause.
If you know what went wrong. You know it's not a massive mistake that you've made team-wise, right? It's not like you're calling the wrong stuff or whatever, but it is a round that deserves your attention as much as to just chill for a bit.
Also with MR12, the scope for these sort of comebacks is so much higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Just fundamentally is fewer rounds to claw back now. And I think for alternate attacks, even if it's just a pause to sit there and talk about what is the round we're defaulting into next round, what is, you know, what map control we're going for, who's going with who, what nades are being thrown early, just going through that process of talking through it, it takes your mind off what has been a couple of insane rounds, and the last one was brutal.
Yeah, that's the thing. The last thing that you want after such a round like that, especially when Zedko's actually he's had the chance to find 4 kills in a matter of 3 seconds. The last thing that you want is for it to continue being such high-paced game. aTTaX opens things up though, when this is a little bit better. Speedy's able to cross. They should know he could be towards, right? He was the other one to get a kill, so that is being calmed, but Alternated aTTaX might be able to recover fairly quickly after the disappointing round against the Pistols. They still have a couple players that are low on HP though, and this could set up a Sinners player for a massive multi-kill here.
They are leaning in the right way now. For a moment, it was just Quertz alone here on B. And now there's numbers over. There's nades as well on Zedko if he can get anywhere nearby. Smokes down for Sinners. Are they going to play in front of these smokes? Quertz is going to commit. He's alone. He could really do some flashbangs behind. He tries to fight, but he gets enveloped. Beastic gets absolutely annihilated through the smoke. But either way, that is a good response from Alternative aTTaX. Give him credit, because it's definitely in a realm where the mental game could become a lot of a factor, and that was good. Yeah. Especially had they lost this round as well in a 4 versus 3, that would have been too much, I feel like, to handle. That would have been Sinners back in the game, but Alternative aTTaX, I feel like they've just been, well, after landing, if that was a boxing match, they've landed maybe 2 or 3 knockdowns so far. The game is just going their way. There's no way the majority decision goes against them. They just get knocked down once in the final round, but all that they had to do was just stand up, shake off the dust, keep it up, and this round is essentially doing that for them. 12-7, you still have 5 chances to close out the map. Yes, you would have had 2 more had you converted against the Pistols probably, but 5 should still be enough for you to steal away the map pick of the Sinners at this point. It is a full buy. Let's see what they can do. Let's see what Sinners can do. It has been better Counter-Strike from them in the last few rounds than we saw earlier in this map. So we've got to give them a little bit of leeway in that sense. But as you're saying, it's just a lot to ask from here. And another clean round as well from Alternative aTTaX. They can get another buyout for sure, especially with a plant. So, work left to be done. Heavy A-lean from the CD side. Bit of aggression. There's already an entry. Quertz is down. The speed defense has been a problem throughout. And this surely is one knockout punch too many.
Yeah, the bomb's crossed as well. Shock is hoping that he catches somebody off guard, and he might be really quick on the flank, but I feel like any moment now, Perks is just going to turn around and be aware of the possibility, and Shock is just waiting. It's 5 versus 3 post plan. There should be no way that Sinners retake into this one. AVP on the retake as well. Oscar's already tagged down. Panic's fully blinded. Doesn't make a difference. That means that Shock needs to start moving forward, and he's going to be able to find one. So a 2v4, Zedko needs to go huge again, but he might be caught with his pants down. Panics confirms it. It's either a Shock 1 versus 3 ace clutch, or it is an Alternative aTTaX 13-7 victory here on Ancient, and it feels like the latter is just highly unlikely to happen. Shock has been spotted out. Not a lot of ammo left in this clip of the M4, so gotta hit a bit of a reload, so he's gonna slow it down a bit more. Still gets a 3rd one, gets a 4th, and he was looking for a 5th there. Shock nearly pulls out another miraculous round, nearly gets the ace, but it's aTTaX to put an end to the misery. 13-7 in favor of Alternative aTTaX on Ancient.
Yeah, an excellent performance. That first half could certainly have gone more in the way of Sinners, but that second half was brilliant. I loved a lot of what I saw. I thought the calling was great from Spiddy. The thing I loved the most actually was the way they put the brakes on when they realized it's getting really hectic. There's to slow this down and force the mistakes out of Sinners. So all in all, a very composed performance, and that's the team that's just made a roster move. That's the team that should be in flux. And they've just won their opponent's map pick pretty cleanly all in all. So it bodes extremely well for the German squad now going forward in this series.
Yeah, and as you said, a roster move, it's only a roster move out, right? It's not like they've actually signed Panics from Sango yet. He's still in Sango, right? He's just the stand-in, but they're playing that well right now and performing on such a high level. I feel like for a team like Alternative aTTaX that in the previous edition of the CCT Online Finals showed that they can still do some serious damage internationally at bigger events, it would be a massive boost if they were to kind of avoid dropping down in that lower bracket that early. And now they've gotten themselves a golden chance, right? Map number 1, they steal it away. Overpass coming up. It has been an alright map for Sinners at certain points of history throughout the last couple years, but I'm not sure if now is the right moment for them to be fighting up against aTTaX on it. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out, though. We have to wait for the break to end, and we're going to be right back in just a couple minutes for map number 2.
Very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move, one push. One touch. One love. One click. One XBet.
Are you sick of case?
Watch the matches with bo3.gg, the official stats partner of CCT. Check out AI-powered predictions in live matches. Get access to live scoreboards packed with in-depth weapons and grenade statistics. Check out round maps in the match results. Extend your game vision with bo3.gg.
Yo, what are you doing?
Exhibit.
What do you think? I'm a paperclip? It's Mr. X to the Z. You need to quit browsing like a lame and get Opera GX. Because with GX mods, you can pimp your motherfucking browser. All you gotta do is click here, select the mod, and boom! New look, new sounds, new everything. It's not easy being a legend. Oh, shit. Not again. Change the mod now. Download Opera GX.
The champion of champions.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another episode of the CCT podcast.
We've got a ton to talk about, man. There's just so much action.
It feels like it's never ending.
Hey guys, we have another interview for you today. Very special guest, Speedy.
First, a funny thing, they also call me Grandpa in my team because I'm so old.
What are your general thoughts on what might come for the next couple of months of CS2?
Welcome back to the CCT Online Finals for ladies and gentlemen. We are back and ready to start things off with the second map of the second series of the day. It is Sinners taking on aTTaX. For those of you that have missed map number 1, it was the map pick of Sinners, so mentioned, and aTTaX were able to snatch it away. I say snatch it away. They were far the better team by quite the margin, right, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, let's flip it the other way. What does Sinners need to do differently? Is it certain individuals? Is it Oscar and shocking people like this? Is it just playing more as a team? Or is it, being less aggressive, not going down early? How do you see, what is a world where Sinners gets back into this series and how does it happen?
I feel like a world where Sinners get back into this series is, I guess, we have to go back to the argument that we used to actually support the thesis of them picking up the series 2-0, which is obviously not an option anymore. But the fact that you're starting on the CT side of Overpass, where momentum is quite a big thing. So I feel like if it starts off nicely for them, if they feel like their A Rifler and Oscar can just roam around and destroy people, maybe there could be a world where they get a really comfortable score at the end of the first half, and then that transitions into an overall really good Overpass. But we'd have to wait and see. We're ready to jump into the server because the best round is already starting. We haven't been given too much time for monologues, and well, we're in the middle of the action, and Beastic and Zetko are in a 2 versus 3, and Zetko's in a 1 versus 3. Okay, I guess no questions asked about who picks up the pistol round then.
Yep, shame we couldn't see all of it, but we're here for the end. We know what happens.
Yeah, it was because of my monologue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Ego is flowing over. That's the problem. Right. Perks clearly had a good round. And Sinners, I mean, you said it. It'd be great if they could get off to a good start. Rack up some, even if it's not just confidence, just get some economy on the defense. Have a bit of a buffer. Well, they've lost the pistol. Fairly likely they're going to force in the next. We'll see what they choose to go for. And what's on the flip side, aTTaX haven't really put a foot wrong for quite a while in this series. Perfect start.
If Sinners were able to actually pick up the best round and start things off. Yeah, presumably we're going to see the eco come up. Zetko was able to stay alive. He can buy up a rifle even if he wants to. It's not going to be an Emperor, obviously. They could force up. The thing is, at least statistically, on paper, had Sinners won map number 1, we would be screaming it 2-all for Sinners. Or at least I would be screaming 2-all for Sinners going into this one. Because you look at some of the race results, it's really give you how much trust about aTTaX. Obviously, the more you play, the more mistakes you can correct and the better you become, right? But they've lost their last 6 consecutive overpasses, and the last 2 ones were 6-13, Ends Academy, and Anonymous, which obviously is not fantastic if you're aTTaX, but that's why CS is beautiful. You can't compare one game to another. You can't compare one matchup with another one. It's completely different every now and then, or every single time actually.
Okay. 1 kill found for V-Stick. Every kill here is a godsend. Every kill does so much to limit the economy for the German squad. So Speedy needs to corral the troops. Have it very clean from here. But look at the mini-map, man. All 5 are here for Sinners. Zetko has a deagle. V-Stick gets another with the USP. Credit to that boy. And this round is already looking way too dangerous.
Oh goodness, they don't clear out Shock. He's picked up a rifle. Refract should come through for Perks. There's so much damage being done. It's just the pistols tapping away. Perks turning his back. Doesn't get shot, thankfully for him. And the bomb is actually just sprinting down the B-bomb side, which is a little bit risky. Beastic is already here. There goes the smoke. There goes the molly. Beastic is going to be isolated. Has to respect the Molotov. He's going to burn slightly. The bomb's going to get planted any moment now. aTTaX should still have this one in the back. I mean, you're up against 2 USPs. Now, Shock has picked up a rifle, but Beastic is really low on HP with just the pistol. I say just the pistol. He's got a bit of a timing. Perks manages to get the kill. That would have been really dangerous. If Beastic gets into a position where he can get the kill on the Panics, this is a completely different round. But now it should be done and dusted. Panics with a double, or actually a triple even. Perks with the double. Now aTTaX somehow stay alive here.
Even so, that is still, you know, if you look at it in terms of success coming into round with what you had, that was a win for Sinners. You've done so much to limit this aTTaX economy. Of course, they have no loss bonus racked up because they've been winning rounds. And what do they have in the bank? 50 on Spiddy, 650 on Panics. I'm surprised the others even have this much to speak of. A Galil out for freeze maybe is part of that. But anyway, chance for Sinners to break the cash. There'll definitely be an eco to come. They can just win this round. And no AWP on the defense, so maybe a tad limited. Is Oscar just going to push? He's playing alone.
Yeah. That's a really tough angle to clear out as well. He's going to catch them on a bit of a timing. The player trying to get on top of Broland, but it doesn't work out. And now Oscar's in a really tough spot. He gets away with 1 kill tops out of this situation. It's not even going to be 1 Panics. On the way back, holding the spray actually lands the headshot onto Oscar. I have no idea how, but the opening kill goes in favor of aTTaX. Beastic is going to try and take the position of Oscar now, but again, with the lack of hopes and just Enforce on the other side, aTTaX can just hold on to it. They can just contact their way up that A bomb site, refrag efficiently, and they should be good to go.
This is nightmare fuel for for Sinners. They have to make a move. They lose Oscar so advanced, so early on in the round. He doesn't get that much information. He just calls the Panics is here, and that's not a surprise. It's how they default with the AWP on that side of the map. Beastic now wants that information. He has Quirts nearby. Players lining up. Spiddy is gone. So he's given up his position. But aTTaX surely don't know there are more in attendance. Quirts hasn't faced. Freeze is right up close. Zedko takes a duel. Beastic is traded. Zedko comes into play. Head presented. But Orzek, that is beautiful. Such a hectic round. But Quirts is still unknown. He's still unknown.
So perfect.
Wow, that is amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. It's the fact that the player decides to go towards the toilets. They weren't thinking about the possibility, of course, being towards long. They could have seen him, and he denies the ball from going down. There's not enough time. Quirts has won the round. Burst will get away with the bomb plant. Actually gets the kill as well, but Choc was there in time. This is pure and utter chaos, but it's Sinners to get it on the board. And never mind, they actually didn't get it in time. They planted the bomb, but the time ran out.
He's lucky Perks had some cash in the bank because he died after time. Wow. That would have been a nightmare. But the way this round played out, I don't know if Oscar got comms from, was it Beastic or Zedko? Whoever was in connector at the start might have commed something that incentivized the swing. But that was aggressive from Oscar. I don't think he had the info to know that A was lightly kind of light presence there for aTTaX. He was wrong. He gets chased down. And from there, it was just a nightmare. Even with Quirts unchecked, that was, even that was the best chance to get into that round, and it still wasn't ideal. But yeah, they do win it. Just a bit of a mess.
That round, it kind of finds its place in today's matchup so far really nicely. It glues in. It's like it was the final piece of the puzzle. It's just one of many, I feel like. That's been the entire energy. The entire vibe today has been just, we're having fun. It's a little bit random. It's whatever, really, but quite exciting. It's kind of like living a day-to-day life. I mean, each single day might be your last, but you're just enjoying this day. Just making the best out of it.
I'm not on board with this force buy.
I mean, you don't really have a choice, do you? Loss bonus is 1900, and you had around 14 per person.
Had a bit more on a couple.
Yeah,
I don't know. The Galils are so playable these days that.
Yeah, I mean, Alzik and Freezy were the only ones that had more money, but it's just 2 people, right? So it would be a little bit of a crippled full buy, even if they wait for it and go for it next round.
I'm not intrinsically against these sort of buys, but I need to see a reason. I need to see a call. I need to know why we bought up all this utility. I need to see a bit of a plan.
I'm gonna
given the way this bomb is going.
Yeah.
We going through this monster smoke.
We have a German set piece coming up. Although the fact that panics with the smoke double flash is being sent towards A is leaving me a little bit bamboozled, I'm not gonna lie. He's got the majority of the Uto, and they've actually used most of their nades towards the A bomb side. They're trying to fake them out here, trying to just use so much Uto towards the A bomb side to make it look like they're just being diligent on their A tick. And that's gonna be a monster walkout. They're gonna try and contact it, and it might work out. Sinners, they've left Monster completely. They've doubled up towards short. They think it's an A play. They think it's a long wrap. And any moment now, they might realize that Chalk has got eyes on Monster, but he doesn't realize he's missed the timing completely. This is genius. That's worked out so well.
Got to capitalize, though. Round isn't won yet. Shock's attention is fully pulled. Freeze might go down, but there's just so much work to be done. Shock does get a kill. He gets out of short, drops the bomb on the site. And as I was saying, yes, the macro position for alternate attacks was incredible. But you still got to get it done. Still got to capitalize on the round. Orzek left alone 1-on-2. Zed goes so much closer than he ever would have expected. And that is... Ooh. They don't have X-ray vision. They'll never see how good it looks until they look back at the demo. But that was a massive percentage round for them. That was... They should have won it. They should have won that.
They themselves don't realize how smart they are, right? They don't realize how well it worked out, actually. It was so perfect. It was more perfect than I think they would have hoped for.
Might be part of it. They might have thought, well, the bomb site surely isn't clear, and they really take their time.
Yeah.
When it actually was.
Yeah. You don't really believe it. You don't believe that they've just double stacked short and you've called the most perfect timing in the world, and you just gotta walk Shock down, get the refrag, win the round. Now it's just the pistols. Oscar should have a field day towards balloons, and I say that he gets blocked. Beastix is not gonna follow. Alzek with some nice damage. Let me tell you what, 2 kills considering the investment. It's not bad at all, but Sinners are gonna be more than happy with getting those 3 lines, rounds. Lines? Yeah, getting those 3 lines on the round.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
We can make it lines on the prison wall if you want. Strike them off.
Yeah. All right.
I'm talking like count, like, you know how to count the days. Strike off the lines. That's what I mean.
No.
Just to clarify for the boys and girls out there. Nothing nefarious here. Nothing going down. No need to panics. What I like to say. No shocks here. No strange quirts.
I think you're enjoying yourself a little bit too much.
I'm just a beast-stick. What can I say? There's perks to the job.
Yeah, I'm not shocked.
All right, where are we? Man advantage for Sinners.
Yeah, we can...
Early kill towards playground. Beaststick's just going to commit. I mean, he's got to get a good timing or a good fight because he is all alone. That is nice. But even if he's failed now, he's just done so much to disrupt this T side that surely Sinner's in an excellent position.
Easy. That's been hurt for sure. There goes the Molotov. That was quite close, actually, but Quird still manages to win the fight regardless, and it's a clean round going in favor of the Sinners. Shut down all over the place. A double for Oscar on the AVP. The rifles packing a punch as well. And considering alternative attacks were the ones to win the pistol and the conversion, it feels like it's been a long time since we've seen them even be relatively competitive in a round.
This one's just going to be a half buy. And the last one was pretty punchy, so I'm not going to call this round just yet. But yeah, Sinners a little bit more comfortable. 4B start from them. Actually, no. It's just Quirts. I think Quirts are just throwing some nades. He's now back over towards A instead. Probably is the right approach, especially if they got a good read on the buy. And as Oscar just shot somebody straight through the monster smoke, I think he did.
Yeah, I think so. And you know what they say. It doesn't matter how. It matters if. That's all that... Oh. Somehow, that was a double tag from Oscar, and he doesn't get a kill, but it just confirms the information, and it makes it so much easier for Beaststick to connect. Collect both of those. Speedy is going to try and assist his teammate, but Quirts is there to help out as well. It's a nice skill from the in-game leader, but that's all that there is to it. Now, no need to panic, boys, but this is not going that well.
Kind of sorry left to be played, but yeah, this I haven't been that impressed by the pauses from alternate attacks. I think they do need to throw a couple in the mix here just to have a quick chat before this becomes a bit too hot to handle. Or just a half buy, but yeah, that's pretty dominant showing.
Yeah, what I like about it is the fact that Sinners look comfortable as a team. It's not like Oscar is just going crazy or Shock is farming. It's everyone just doing their part, right? I mean, you look at the kill distribution, it's been fairly decent. Bottom frag 5 kills, top frag 7. It's usually those are the signs of a really solid CT side. Well, it could be a really solid T side. It's just a solid showing from a team. Everyone's doing their part. Everyone's delivering when needed. Essentially what you want in a scenario like that. Another tactical timeout, as you pointed out. Those haven't been really helping out alternate attacks that so far, but let's see if a change comes in. There is an AVP in the hands of Panics once again. AK's around. Breezy gonna be the only one on a Galil with some extra util, but Zetko's gone aggressive once again towards A. This time he's gonna be a lot more aggressive than the last one.
Spitty is so low. Has he been peppered up? But has he been legged? Something's happened.
I think those were. I
it
think
could have
it
been
must have
double
been
A's.
nades. I think it was nades. Yeah.
Oh no, they have no idea. They have no idea. Luckily, trade comes through, but there's still 2 advanced on A for Sinners. V-Stick can make a move. He feels like there's an opening. They're going to fall a little bit more passive instead. So alternate attacks, they survive the first onslaught in this round.
Yeah, actually, it couldn't have been double nade because V-Stick still has his HE. So
it has been a leg, I think.
Yeah, leg or a single nade that somehow did so much as much damage. But yeah, then it must have been a leg shot from the AVP.
He could have stood in a molly, but that would be a bit weird.
Yeah, he could have. Maybe 8 and 8 and stood in the molly.
But we've seen weirder today, so why not?
Yeah, we have. Another exchange. Quirts shuts down Alzek, panics, holding for the Oscar peak, wins that head-to-head fight. Quite important, and B-Stick is going to be alone. Rotations coming in towards the A-bomb side, but alternate attacks making their presence known. Freezy actually fails the jump, doesn't hard clear B-Stick, and that's going to be his mistake. Bomb drop, a lot of information for B-Stick now, and he just needs to stay alive. Try and buy some more time for the rotations, and actually Perks is a little bit messy and misses out on a pretty free kill here. Nice flash from Quirts to try and help out his teammate. Did blind the T partially, I feel like, but apparently it was enough. Now Panics needs to try and clutch it up, but there's only 3 seconds. He's just focusing on getting 1 kill and then staying alive. And never mind, scratch the second one. He did, I guess, go down before time run out, so he is getting some kind of cash going into the next one, but no AVP for sure.
They are not getting a lot of bomb plants here. Alternate attacks. I've seen so few rounds of repeat buys and keep getting this cycle of back to another half buy and see if this strat of the day is going to work. A little bit wearing on me a bit. I'd like to see a bit more consistency. And of course, this is the map pick of alternate attacks. Expected to add more. Their ancient was fluid. It had different options. It was dynamic and aggressive, and that's kind of everything this map hasn't been so far. Okay.
Well, you happy now?
He must have heard me.
Well, that was good. Perks just sends it through the smoke. This is what you need sometimes. A little bit of madness. Some speed, velocity, and creativity. It's not usually that tough of a word. Somehow managed to make it into a tongue twister, but hey.
You've been creative with it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for
it's
the
free
support.
A here for Sinners. Definitely got the numbers, but that is not a good start. Zedko cannot get traded here. Players out long, and I'll tell you what, man. If they hold this site, they are some lucky boys, because this could have gone south ever so fast, and maybe they won't. Oh, they do.
What's
Oscar,
going on?
a pair of headshots, and there were 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 moments there where Sinners would have been in the doldrums. That could have gone south ever so quickly.
You know what? This day so far has had so many crazy rounds. This was #1 contender for the trophy if we had one. If we had an award, that would be it. How is Oscar alive? Someone answer me, please. I want to. I don't know. I don't want to hear anything. To be fair, I just want to watch it again and again and again. That was quite something. 7-2 Sinners, I guess. What happened just happened. And Zedko's picked up another opening. This game has been quite tough for aTTaX and Speedy. Both of them not really having their best performances yet. 3-10 for aTTaX, 1-9 for Speedy, 3-8 for Freezy as well. But, I mean, can we really focus on the individual performance and the stats when rounds like that are happening? I don't think we can.
It's also the pressure on Speedy to call through these T-side problems is got a lot on his mind at the moment.
Oh, for a second there, I thought you said the depression on Speedy, and I was like, yeah, I can see where this is coming from. They've lost some ludicrous rounds. Yeah.
Oh, this round is crumbling as well. Freeze is just trying to make a move, but it's too much to ask. Can't get a good engagement. And yet again, alternate attacks. Not getting near the site on many of these rounds. Honestly, the half buys have been some of their more convincing rounds since pissed around on that conversion. They just have no finishing power at all. Maybe now is a good moment. Perks for one. It's only Zedko on this side of the map. Got 21 HP, and he's actually committing wide. And maybe that was a shrewd move. Perks caught off guard, and now the cavalry's here. This is brutal viewing.
Yeah, it is quite brutal. Speedy's gonna burn to a crisp. It's not getting any better for alternate attacks. It just doesn't look like the team on Ancient. As you pointed out, the T side, they've just not been able to make it work whatsoever. A lot of questions, not a lot of answers so far provided by the German side. aTTaX is going to focus on trying to hold on to that big green for the next one. But it's been a tough day at the office here on Overpass. Makes you think, by the way. Makes you think, what if Sinners were able to get that map number one? But it was so one-sided in favor of alternate attacks that I don't even feel... It doesn't even feel right for us to say it, but this is the response that Sinners would have dreamt to be able to deliver here on map number 2. This is perfect for them. This is the ideal CT side I was talking about.
I think the funny thing is about the way this map has played out is if you told me that alternate attacks, they lose slacks, they're playing with stand-in, probably a little bit ragtag, who knows how much practice they're on with this 5-man lineup. You might expect this sort of result, but the thing that makes me hesitate is that I think aTTaX has played a really good game of CS. Now, granted, there's a lot of intangibles that we can't see from outside of the team. There's communication and protocols. So maybe it's still an issue, but I feel like aTTaX has pulled his weight, and they should be playing better as a team.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, individually, he's playing well. The thing is, we never know until we're in the team, until we're in the team speak. And you, of all people, you know that really nicely, right? You were a coach for Endpoint, so you know that sometimes from the outside perspective, it's not easy to tell how much a player actually does for a team, right? When they're out. And even if a player is playing well statistically and on the map, even passes the eye test, looks like he's doing the right things, sometimes it's just not what the team needs, and there's other factors to it. But yeah, completely agree with the point that you made. Feel like alternate attacks, considering that aTTaX is again doing a good job, should be a little bit more competitive. And you know what? This round is a lot better.
One down. More to find. Evened up. Evened up.
I jinxed it.
And another duel.
Never mind.
Of course, he can't convert, but this is still game on, especially if they keep peeking Oscar. Guys, come on. That's a lot of individual fights at the end of the day.
Well, they have the right call. I mean, they've made it. Shock's rotated back towards the A-bomb side.
Oh,
never mind. Caught in transition. That's really old. Freezy's low on HP. Shock should have this kill in the back any day of the week, and now he knows aTTaX needs to clutch it up. A 1 versus 2. He's jumping around looking for Shock, but he's nowhere to be found. And in the meantime, he is everywhere on the map. 9-2 in favor of Sinners, and I feel like that was alternate aTTaX's chance to make it at least somewhat respectful.
Where was this Sinners on map 1? They're relentless.
They're
on map 1, there were so many rounds that went late round, and it's just like a small error, or like a slight lapse of communication, a slight dip from what I expect from this team, and it's just been complete opposite here. They haven't... Every time there's been an opportunity, they've slammed the door on the fingers of alternate attacks, and they are screaming right now.
Yeah.
Are they really going to get a flawless half after losing pistol and the second round eco? That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like they are. I mean, they are on the right path to success. The previous round, I feel like, could have been the difference between a 10-2 and an 8-4. Towards B, they send it. Shock gets the first one. The refrag is good, but they need to take care of Quirts towards Walter, and the rotations are going to be quite quick. Actually, a couple fights going in favor of the T side might give them a slight chance. Nade in. Thankfully, it wasn't Perks, by the way, planting the bomb. Otherwise, if the nade was a little bit more accurate, it could have been a kill, but it is a 2 versus 2 post planned with Zetko coming in from Monster and Diop coming in from short.
Bomb isn't a great plant for these two guys. There's so much util on this T side. And Perks is trying to force a headshot angle. I don't blame him, but that nade lands perfectly. And now with where that bomb is planted, Smoke is going to go down mid-sight and freeze. His only chance is to kill them before they get on that bomb. And surely this is too much to ask. Oscar's going to stick. It is actually a little bit wide. Can he get the angle? No, he can't. 10 in a row for Sinners. And that is a gut punch if I've ever seen one for that German squad.
Yeah, that is one of the most dominant CT sides you'll ever see on Overpass. And it's a little bit BME, by the way, that the smoke fades and Freezy realizes how close he was to it. But Sinners, after losing the pistol round and the anti-eco, a flawless showing on the CT side of Overpass. A lot of questions, as we said, after map number 1. The fact that we expected a lot more from them on Ancient, being their map big. The fact that they were a little bit hard done in the first half, but they were still able to glue it up towards the end. But then second half on Ancient, they get completely destroyed, completely demoralized. And going into Overpass, I feel like this was the only way it goes in favor of Sinners, but they've surprised us. I mean, it's not even a recovery. It's just a complete turnaround.
What do you do now if you're Eternal Attacks? You're just clinging on for dear life. You want to make this a somewhat competitive scoreline before we head to the decider. And I'll tell you what, some of those teams that are already in the lower bracket, you are nervous if you lose this series, because you might be out of the CCT Online Finals number 4 very fast. You do not want to end up in that lower bracket, especially after Eternal Attacks. They look so good on map 1. It'd be harrowing if this series just slipped away all too easily.
Yeah. As we said, some serious names down there. I mean, Aurora are down in the lower bracket, and that's a little bit scary. It is even scarier when you realize that the loser of this game is actually about to face off Aurora in an elimination game in just a couple of days' time. So you have the chance to convert here against the Sinners or play against one of the dark horses of the entire tournament. It's an 8 take though coming in from the T's. All or nothing for alternate attacks. They absolutely need this one. And the first couple kills go their way, but Quirts comes in, guns blazing, Glock finding kills left, right, and center. Oscar down to a 1 versus 2 clutch. Does he realize where Perks is coming from though? He hasn't spotted him yet, has the bomb on his back. Gonna try and stick the plant. Now he's seen the second one still. Commits to the bomb plant, wants to secure the investment, but Oscar's found another, and Oscar! What is that?
This can't keep happening. This can't keep happening. And it's Oscar as well again. Alternate attacks could be head in hand thinking, what do we need to do to win a damn round? What do we need to do? Does it have to literally be 5-on-2 with an afterplan or something? Because every time they're in a good position, they find a way to lose. And equally, every time Sinners are in an impossible situation where only a massive individual outplay is going to keep them in these rounds, they win it. 11 on the trot. First map is out of the window. If I'm German, I'm rattled right now because this series has changed and then some.
Wow. The way that he was ready to concede the round. He was ready to just commit to the bomb plan and get killed in the process, just securing the money for the forest buy. He was ready to lose the pistol and still manages to win it somehow. Well, that's not great. I mean, this force buy is not going too awful for alternate attacks, all things considered, but Quirts with a couple nice kills, just turning around. He's gonna go back for more. That's a great recovery from the rifles. With that being said, it should be GG's for this Overpass. Hanix, a 1v3. He's been solid so far, especially for a stand-in, but this one is a little bit too much. And this game, this map has been a little bit too much for alternate attacks to deal with and to handle.
You do have to look at the lineup to say outside of Speedy and to some extent, I guess, Panics, there is a lot more experience on Sinners. They've played a lot more games, been a lot more high-pressure games, and you can't help look at this performance and say, this slipped too easily through turn aTTaX. They haven't looked in the game for the last 12 rounds. They've lost so many moments, which composure would have got them over the line.
Yeah. By the way, highlighting, because obviously we did have that discussion about Shock and Oscar being the big stars of the show, but credit where credit is due. Quartz has been playing a really, really good map of CS here on Overpass. He's been really solid. I mean, we haven't seen too many flashy plays, I guess, but mid-round, he's been really vital with multi-kills. And this is something that I feel like they've been lacking, because you have Shock to open things up. He can create a lot of space. You have Oscar to be the closer, so it's kind of like the middle piece, if you think about it in that way, that's missing. And when Quartz is able to deliver those multi-kills, and the previous round was a really good example, things are just going to be working out so much more easily.
Good kill. Space taken. That's going to rattle Sinners a little bit. And someone's going to go to recover this bomb at some point. It looks like Shock looks more intent on just finding the kill. Duel is very important. And trades all over the shop. Okay, where are we? 2-on-2. Bomb can now be recovered safely. And once that bomb is scooped up, I do think this looks okay again for Sinners.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Shock is low on HP, but they have the 2 rifles, and they're up against the rifle in a 5-7. Problem is, the CTs have actually made the right gambles. Zetko's going to start walking out of Monster, but unless he catches a favorable timing, he could get refragged. Freezy's off angle is quite powerful as well. Does Zetko hard clear it? Oh, he's seen him. That's a big problem. There goes the first one. Pistol's been spotted. Zetko gets taken down, but that's the information. Shock in a 1 versus 1, but I wonder, the fact that Speedy doesn't see Shock straight away, does it make him think that Shock's going to rotate back towards A? It does. And Shock was indeed just so late because he wanted to pick up the bomb, or he had to pick up the bomb from T-spawn. He's going to find himself on an empty B bomb site. He's going to take his time to clear it out, though. Doesn't believe that Speedy's just left like that, but he can plant the bomb. It's a 1v1 post plant. Oh, he's planting for heaven. Never mind. Behind the sandbag. Now he's holding for him. Smoke on the side. Opens up some space. And now he's heard the drop. He's still babysitting it. Gonna try and walk away. Speedy spots him. They're just playing ring around the rosy. Dancing around the smoke. Dancing around the side. Speedy doesn't see him. Drops on the side. He's looking for the bomb. But Shock should have this one in the bag. Is as awkward as a lot of the rounds have been. But in the end of the day, there's nothing awkward about that 13-2. That was, well,
13 in a row.
Victory for the Sinners.
13 in a row. What else do you want to say? That was flawless. Your pistol rounds are pistol rounds. You're going to lose some. They full eco second round. What do you want? And then from there, it was brilliant. So, wow, what a turnaround. The first map, we're asking some questions about where's the team play, where's the communication. These late rounds look a bit off. Complete opposite. Everything was flawless in that second map. And if I'm alternate aTTaX, I'm not even sure I know what just hit me. That was probably the most dominant CS2 game I've ever seen. That was really, really dominant from Sinners.
Yeah. I feel like we find ourselves in a pretty similar position to where we were at that stage in game number 1, right? I mean, one of the teams just gets absolutely blown out of the water on map number 2. And right now, what should be going through the heads of alternate aTTaX is, okay, we shouldn't be thinking about what went wrong on that second map. We should try and forget it and just focus on what's ahead of us, because Anubis is coming up. They have only around 10-15 minutes-ish to reset. And if you're thinking about all the things that got messed up on Overpass, you won't have the time and you're just going to get into your heads, whereas you should be thinking about that third and final map. I feel like it's going to be a really hard recovery for alternate aTTaX after what we just witnessed on Overpass. But I guess time will tell. A quick break, and then we're going to be right back with the third and final map of the series.
Very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move. One push. One touch. One love. One click. One X-bet.
Tired of boring case openings? Do you always get only cheap skins? The Hellcase website has tons of options to upgrade your inventory. It's up to you to participate in giveaways, events, or compete with other players in opening cases. Hellcase, your world of expensive skins.
Yo, what are you doing?
Exhibit.
What do you think? I'm a paperclip? It's Mr. X to the Z. You need to quit browsing like a lame and get Opera GX. Because with GX mods, you can pimp your motherfucking browser. All you gotta do is click here, select a mod, and boom! New look, new sounds, new everything. It's not easy being a legend. Oh, shit. Not again. Change the mod now. Download Opera GX.
The champion of champions.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another episode of the CCT podcast.
We've got a ton to talk about, man. There's just so much action.
It feels like it's never ending.
Hey guys, we have another interview for you today. Very special guest, Speedy.
First, a funny thing, they also call me Grandpa in my team because I'm so old.
What are your general thoughts on what might come for the next couple of months of CS2?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the CCT Online Finals 4. Just a couple seconds before the start of the map, or the third map, between aTTaX and Sinners. I'm sorry, my mind is just absolutely baffled by what we've seen so far today, Alan. And it's been a crazy first series. It's been a crazy second one as well. I mean, you look at the scores, you'd think that the veto is quite the opposite, but after a 13-7 on Ancient for aTTaX, then Sinners got lost the pistol round, lost the conversion on Overpass, and then won every single other round. 13 in a row to take us to a third. I have no idea what to expect out of this Anubis.
I mean, we're 5 out of 6 maps in today. None have gone double digits. Every single one has been an absolute battering when we got to the end. So I think more than anything, we're due a close affair. I want to see a back and forth game. I don't want to see a game where a team streaks ahead earlier and we're just calling it from the 15 minutes in. I want to see a real brawl, and both these teams have had good moments in this series. Sinners looks especially dominant, I guess, on map 2, but there is no intrinsic reason why on a map like Anubis this shouldn't be a really close, exciting game, and we deserve one. We deserve it.
Yeah, I think we do as well, right? Because you said it. There's been so many crazy rounds and scrappy situations, so many moments when a team has just been completely absent or the other team just runs over them, and amongst those really chaotic rounds that are really entertaining to watch, don't misunderstand me, we haven't had that situation where a 1 versus 4 clutch actually decides the game itself, right? We've seen the clutches, we've seen the crazy blowouts, but we haven't seen one round being the difference between a win and a lose for either team because it's been so dominant so far. So yeah, I really hope that we get to a closer one, and by what I'm being told, we are ready to jump into map number 3. It is Anubis, it is aTTaX, taking on Sinners. Let's get it on. We do get to follow the, I was going to say the pistol round, the knife round first, and it is a 1 versus 1. Speedy versus Quartz. Hey, okay, so aTTaX get to choose which side they want to start that game. You reckon they started off on the CT side, or you want to ride the momentum wave?
Always start T side if you get the choice.
Okay.
So of the players, can be either team. Give me a couple players who, maybe haven't been the biggest factor yet in this series, but if they play to their potential, could win this series for their teams. Who are those players in this server?
All right, that's interesting. I'd say Alzik has to be one for sure. I mean, what we saw from aTTaX on map number 1 was good enough on the team level. We haven't seen Alzik shine too much, and I feel like he's an extremely skilled player. I'm not gonna say Panics because he's been overall solid, even on the previous map. he was still doing a good job. We had a slight conversation about it. And then on the side of Sinners, I want to say I feel like Quirts is going to have a good map, but I don't think that's going to be a big surprise because he really played well on Overpass. So I'm just going to be a boring ass person and I'm going to go Shock.
You're allowed. You're allowed. Oscar's had his moments, but I just know he's capable of so much. I just look at these lineups on paper and I say, Oscar really can dominate this server. He can be phenomenal when he's at his best. Maybe Anubis isn't the map, I'll be honest, for the AWP, but he's good across the board. He can rifle, he can use pistols, and he's going to come under fire soon. Oscar's got a lot of work to do here. His teammates are a little bit of a way off. Panics collects, though, in mid as Zedko goes down. Quirt's down 2 for the count. It's looking really good now for the German squad. And Oscar, been here the whole round, but hasn't yet had a tremendous impact.
Yeah, he's still alive. He's just witnessed everything happen around him, but hasn't really had the chance to have a say in the matter. And now he's going to go back, but Panics takes him down as well. That's a lovely best around by Panics, by the way. And it's exactly what aTTaX need right now. After such a harsh map number 2, now we're not going back remembering how map 2 started with aTTaX getting the pistol and then the second one. But shaking off the dust, you've lost 13 consecutive rounds in the series. And yeah, you needed to break through the mold. A good start on the T side. We know how momentum-based that T side on Anubis could be. So making sure you get on the right foot. You know, there is a saying. Have you ever played football, by the way?
Well, back in the day. It's been a while, but I know the gist.
We have that saying in Bulgarian teams. Well, it's probably not a Bulgarian saying, but what's the most important thing in a football game for you specifically, like individually for a player? The most important thing is for the first pass to be a good one, even if it's the most simple one, right? So when you get onto a good start, then it's a lot easier for you to deal with tougher situations. So I feel like this is the I guess the example that we're trying to give with aTTaX right now. You get a nice easy piss around on the board, then you convert, and you're just hoping for it not to develop into a, I guess, replica of what we saw on the previous map.
Pretty clean, this one. Spiddy is farming up. Let's just group up, lads, and doesn't matter which site we hit, we know it's a full eco. Oscar's going to commit, but yeah, certainly the real questions are when the guns come out. aTTaX, definitely, I'm not expecting the same sort of map as we had on Overpass. We know from what we saw on map 1 that they're perfectly capable of running. Might be quite simple rounds, but playing, you know, simple Counter-Strike, playing it together, good util, good spacing. We know they can do it, so I have faith that this definitely could be a closer game.
Yeah, I mean, both those teams are really well drilled. When it comes down to Sinners, as you said, we know they can play solid CS. They are a pretty capable bunch of players, and then on the other side we have a German team, and German teams are just famous with their structure and the fact that they can play textbook CS if needed, right? And most of the time they play textbook CS even if it's not needed. Even if they have to switch it up, they still stick to the basics. So I feel like both those teams have the potential. Let's see, though. As we said, the first 2 rounds fairly easily go in favor of aTTaX. The buy comes in for the Sinners. Shock on an MP9. Rifles for everyone else. I wonder if Sinners want to go aggressive early on, by the way. If they want to fight B lobby, if they want to contest middle, if they maybe want to put in some presence towards Knaus even, or at the start they just wait it out and see how aTTaX approach their T side.
Mid take, 4 players. Sinners a 2-1-2 setup for now, but Zedko's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He's going to get caught out in the open. That is very unfortunate timing. Map is bisected. These 2 remaining B defenders have so much work to do, and look at his acceleration. Lots of domino calls. They're looking big. Huge round for aTTaX.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate for Zedko, and I'd say in that scenario, he's just taking a massive chance, right? He's taking the chance that they wouldn't just contact their way up middle. That's why it's a really good call, by the way. You wouldn't expect the T's in the first buy round to just send 3 people up middle without making a single noise, right? Without using a flash, without using a smoke, just being completely silent. Zedko wasn't ready for this whatsoever. They catch the timing, and I like it. It's like a signal pistol, right? It's like they get that kill, and that's the alarm. You gotta go. You know you've caught a timing. You know you surprised Sinners. The comps are gonna be a little bit chaotic because Zedko obviously didn't expect to see you there. And then you capitalize on it. You get the following up kill onto the A side player, and then there was only one more towards the back of the side. Even if he does find one or two, it's still really favorable post plant, even if Sinners want to think about going for a round like that. So great start. I mean, they've already gotten more rounds than they did on Overpass, and I'm really sorry I had to do it.
Gotta be done.
Yeah.
Gotta be done. One of those days. A lot of counter strikes.
You know what's the thing? It doesn't matter how many times you fall down. All that matters is how many times you can stand up. Right now, they're standing up. They're in the process of doing it. Almost to them.
They're elongating.
Yeah.
Erecting, you might say.
Sure.
Listen, true sense of the word. You want.
Yeah. Guys, I am big.
I'd hope so after seeing some of this Counter-Strike. It is tantalizing, titillating. Here we go. A hit to come. Shock. Well, P250 in a smoke. It's going to have to be monumental. And it's not to be. I think, save the rifles, lads. I don't think this round is on if you're Sinners.
Yeah, I mean, so far we've seen textbook CS, right? The first buy round, you go for something a little bit more surprising, a bit more creative. If you catch the timing, it works out really nicely. You shut them down. If it doesn't, well, at least you tried. Then you prioritize the A-bomb side. Even if it's a stack, if you execute it properly, it's going to be so hard for the CTs to stop it and find a comfortable place on the bomb side itself. Wait a second. Are they actually making this one work? Words has just picked up a double, and Alzek needs to clutch it up in a 1v3. They don't have a kit, but they surely have the kill, and they surely have the time. Sinners have somehow won this one.
That's a blunder if I've ever seen one. Should have been nailed on round 4 alive. Bomb site control, util as well for alternate attacks. And we saw a lot of mistakes, obviously, on map number 2. No if buts a way around it, but you just felt like after a break between the maps, a bit of a talk. First few rounds here looked very calm and composed. I don't know, man. I mean, Quert and Oscar did well on the retake, but I can't help seeing that and thinking that should have gone the way of the German team every day of the week.
Yeah, it should have been. I mean, I was even already. I was talking about the entire picture of the game, right? I was overlooking the round completely. I was starting to hype them up about how solid of a T side they've been calling so far, and they have. I mean, the call was the right one, but post plant lost concentration, allowed Quirts to get away with way too much there. That's a bit devastating. And now we get into a technical pause. Speedy is the one having issues. We hope that it's not going to be a prolonged one. Obviously, I feel like this is a really good moment to have another kind of like a resume of what we've seen so far and what to expect until the end of the day. Of course, for everyone or anyone joining in right now, the only game that you've missed was the game between Anonymous and Mouse NXT. The Polish guys were able to knock Mouse NXT down that lower bracket, 1-2-1. Currently, we are at the start of map number 3 between Sinners and aTTaX. Of course, all of those games being round 1 of the double elim bracket. And then for those of you that are going to be able to watch the 3rd and the 4th game of the day, we have Sprout taking on 0-0 Nation coming up straight after this one. And then Big taking on TSM in the 4th and last game of the day. Of course, the 3rd and the 4th games are going to be brought to you by the lovely Dweg and Jay that are probably having a snack and just enjoying the CS right now.
I feel bad for people that have just arrived and missed all the Counter-Strike earlier. They have missed some absolute zinger rounds. And you might even look at the score lines in these maps thinking, that must have been so boring. Anything but. Whole way through was just like a Michael Bay film. Even if you kind of know how it's going to end, if you know the hero is going to live, there's absolute plot armor. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
You just enjoy it.
Yeah, I know. I just, my brain is getting eviscerated by all this carnage.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, We're back to it. Hopefully some more carnage. And aTTaX is just running, guns blazing with the AVP. Takes down Quirz from behind. He wasn't ready for that. Can't really fault him. Beastix all alone towards the back of the side. Oscar's gonna try and help, but he's just stuck behind the smoke and temple. Perks has won the fight. aTTaX, they bounce back really quickly, but the bomb is yet to go down. The Sinners have already rotated people back towards that B-bomb side.
Need a flashbang to, and then we just need to go with the CT side. Smoke is in for main. Spiddy comes in front, and they've decided let's just take the fight before this retake hits the side proper. And that is perfect. Very good team play. Nice double peeking. Alternate attacks. They might have slipped up, but they're right back at it.
Yeah, that's really vital there for, I guess, the development of that entire first half, or the potential successful development for aTTaX. The fact that they lose that kind of a, I'm gonna call it an off round, because I feel like they just went off, right? It's one that you're not gonna lose more than once or twice per game. It's just a really odd one, but then you have a technical pause or technical issues for Speedy, so it's really easy to kind of get into your head a little bit too much. But apparently they stood in focus. They get back on their feet. 4-1 up. Shutting down Sinners straight after. Full buy is coming in once again for the Czech side, though. An MP9, 3 M4s, all for Oscar. Set up towards A main. The T's will try to contest. Oscar is in a position to help out Shock, but he's going to get mollied off, and they have to give it away for now.
Lots of control here over towards Dark. Question for me is, if this B split does come through, how fast can Sinners react through A? Can they get a lot of space into canals and cause problems? Equally, can these B players stall for time? Well, that's even better. Quirz, big man on campus, new man on the block. He's had a zinger of a series, and that is a great opening kill to make this all the more difficult for the T side.
Yeah, problem is Freezy is taking a lot of space right now, and Oscar needs to confirm that kill. This is a bit awkward. He finally goes down, but Alzek has walked his way out of connector. He might have caught a bit of a timing. Never mind. Quirz manages to get the first one, nearly doubles up and doubles down. Speedy with the refrag, but he shouldn't even be allowed to cross towards the side. Perks is trying to play the trigger discipline, and I think he's lagged out. That's unfortunate. He's, yeah, he's not here. Definitely not here.
It's perching above. Yeah, and of course, for those not so in the loop with top end CS, there are options to stop rounds and replay them, but once damage is done, once you're a certain amount of time in, that's unfortunately not an option. Yeah, it's part of the game. Each round is going to stand. A bit of a tech pause now to sort out whatever that issue is. But yeah, I think ultimately the round was one-sided enough that it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
which is kind of the main thing.
Yeah, I feel like the only difference that it makes is that maybe Perks gets a double kill. Even if he doesn't win the round, that's still going to put a bit of a dent to the economy of the Sinners, so they're going to be more than happy with this one. They don't realize how fortunate they were, but yeah.
I think he was
unlucky.
moving there. Interesting.
Yeah, he was. He lagged out in the exact, like, he lagged out last time, like, or last second before taking a shot. He was moving. He was playing the trigger discipline. He was hearing both players just run by him, but yeah, just before pulling the trigger, he lagged out. I feel like I think he's ready. Is he? There's a lot of movement in T-spawn.
He was definitely turning there on the spot, so
yeah.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. We live.
We are. Okay. Well, that's a bit unlucky for aTTaX when you think about it. It's been only 6 rounds here on Anubis, and both Speedy and Perks have had some technical issues, but at least they're ahead, 4-2. And at least they didn't lose the round because of it, as you pointed out. It's not like they would have won the round or had a 50-50% chance to win the round if that technical issue doesn't come up. Back to the swing of things. Shock. Try and force the issue towards A main. The deep flash is good enough. Shock gets one, but decided to overstay his welcome. And he's going to get punished for it. Alzek is looking for the refrag. Zetko doesn't give him the peek for now. Lives to tell the tale. Stays alive. Tucks in behind the smoke. Decides to play it a little bit safer. aTTaX need to be careful, though. Alzek Got tagged down in the process, and Zetko's still holding a fairly aggressive angle towards main.
What's the move now for return attacks? You know there was a lot of presence on A, but that is gone. It's just Zedko. No chance from an immediate
big
trade, and he gets out. That is absolutely massive. Stays alive. Quirts on the reactionary B aggression, gets one for himself. And now this looks really good. Zedko, it's just so annoying playing behind the mid site. You can't fell him. Teammates are coming over. Beastie gets the final kill, but who is the beast here? Absolutely Zedko. That was monstrous.
Yeah, that's a masterpiece of a solo play towards A main from Zetko there, right? Gets aggressive, gets the first kill, or, well, I guess gets to be the cameraman of Shock, but Sinners themselves get the first kill because of the flash. Shock gets refragged. Zetko deploys the smoke, stays alive, holds on to his position, gets one more kill, crosses back, doesn't get refragged, manages to make it towards the back of the site. Absolutely huge from him. And then called the timing and just allowed Beastie to do the rest. Gets only 2 kills, but you can give him all 5 if you want to. And now it's down to the pistols for alternate attacks. It was a really good start, but Sinners, they're absolutely back in this.
Bit of a slow round. Might have needed it after what has been about 6 hours of unbridled carnage.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say, by the way. If you say we might need a slow round after the last couple rounds, I was going to say after the last couple hours. It's been an interesting day.
Time stakes take stock. So the winner of this game will play... I'm trying to remind myself. They're the top side of the bracket.
The winner of this game is playing Pain, and the loser is playing Aurora.
Not a great deal either way, but...
Yeah, I mean, the loser, I feel like the loser's matchup is tougher.
Yeah, it is, and it's also it's in the lower bracket, so
yeah, it's
elimination, there is
why.
no wiggle room.
Exactly.
Your prize for losing this game is playing Deco. Unlucky.
But then.
That's a bad day in the office for anybody.
By the way, there is a bit of a loophole, because if you win here and you end up losing to Pain regardless, you're actually dropping down to play against the winner of Endpoint and Legacy in the lower bracket. So you're not dropping down. You're not dropping down to play Aurora.
Yeah, but if you're playing Endpoint, I mean, can't seriously think you're going to beat Endpoint. Come on, Endpoint.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to disrespect the UK community.
Yeah, you better not.
No.
Learn your lesson.
Apologize. Thank God you don't know where I live. Well, who said anything about Endpoint? They're a great team, one of the best we've seen ever. Back to the action though, leveling things up 4-4. It's another B play, and this time there's no answer. Coming in from the Sinners, great execution, Molotovs, smokes, flashes, no one saw a thing. And unless the Sinners find a kill really quickly, I'd like to see them actually call this one off.
I think they should play for exits. Especially in CS2. Bomb explosions are just ruinous. Every kill here limits the money so much, and whatever happens, Sinners are buying again in the next, so I think strangle them. Don't let them save. Some of them surely have to stay near the bomb site. All the way gone here, just in case these guys with a kit gets up close and personal, so let's see how this transpires. They are, in my eyes, definitely looking for exits here. Oscar gets up close. Player close to the pillar. Shock gets another. There'll probably no more kills to be found, but might not seem like much. But when alternate attacks have no money anyway in the bank, keeping them low, keeping them on the ropes is all too good.
Yeah. As you pointed out, Sinners, because of the amount of rounds that they've won at this point, they have that money cushion, so they can risk losing a couple guns. And in that previous situation, it was actually more favorable for them to be the hunters than it was for the T's. There's the replay though. Great entries here for both players. They were, well, I guess those were the easiest entries that you could wish for because of the great utility usage as well. It was just a really good take in general, but from a mental point of view, a big round for alternate attacks. They don't let Sinners gain the lead here. They regain it themselves instead. And now back to middle. This is looking like the first buy round a whole lot. They started it with a boost and then a mid walk, Zetko's on the other side of the smoke. He's gonna get surprised. There's the first one. Does he get a second? No, he doesn't. Really important pickup by Alza. Gets tagged down, but it doesn't really make a difference. Shock is all alone. They're rocking the double up setup. But alternate attacks, they decide to slow it down a little bit. Probably the wise decision to make, as they have no confirmation on Shock being low. And Oscar's actually given them a venue into the B bomb site here.
Beastic is pushed through. If Quirts can bring Beastic into play, this could still be very good. There is no safe plan right now when these two men are alive. Oh, it's just on the angle, lining up. Freeze just about stays alive, but now Quirts is through, and that is brutal. Perfect interplay. Yeah, Sinners right back at it.
Yeah, great communication. I mean, I kind of understand why they're going for it and why they think Beastic is not there, though, right? I mean, you see Oscar going aggressive towards Canals with the AVP. You sail a bit of a fake towards the A-bomb side. You get the kill into the mid player. You would think that Sinners would have over-rotated towards the A-bomb side by now, or at least they would have sent the players, and they would be somewhere around CT spawn by the time, right? Or at least tempo or middle. So you're not expecting the B-bomb side to be so heavily occupied. So as soon as you get that kill, you just sprint. Beast catches you off guard, gets the first kill, attacks down the second. That creates a window for Quirts to go through the smoke and activate with a double. 5-5. We are leveled up. Perks is just holding on to that Fire Serpent for now. 3 alive as well for the CT side. Money for Sinners has actually looked quite solid throughout that first half, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. This is what we wanted as well. This back and forth. There is really hard to predict who's winning each round. Just looks like Sinners are getting in the groove, and then Alternate Attacks have a really good split, and then equally, like on the last round, Alternate Attacks have an advantage, but Sinners... good piece of information playing off their teammates. So what we like to see. Unpredictable sports. 2 to go then in the first half. Loser has a dance with Aurora for elimination. You don't want to muck this up.
No, you absolutely don't. Don't want to risk it. Once again, aggressive phase setup at the start of the round. There goes the flash is absolutely perfect. Alzik with a double. That's a great setup. What a way to set yourself up for success, and Alzik even makes the omit. Oh, Shock is a dead man. Alzik will drop him as well. Sinners, they are trying to answer back, but alternate attacks just shut them down. As you pointed out, it feels like Sinners are getting on the right move, but then alternate attacks just hit him with a round like this one, and Oscar's missed the shot. He is in a whole lot of trouble. Words walking through the smoke. Panics will punish. Oscar follows suit, and it's another round on the board for the T's. They get at least a tie at the end of that first half here.
Sinners are going to regret not making a hard save call there. Yes, some players were low. The A flank is early, so I understand it. It certainly was tempting to give it a look in, but now with hindsight, we can see a couple rifles saved over, and this buy looks a heck of a lot healthier. Pressure now on people like Quirts and Oscar. Oscar hasn't had his best game. We brought him up at the start. We know he can be superstar caliber player. He is there, been that sort of man in the past. And as soon as they kind of need him, they need him in this map to get over the line.
Yeah, they do. I mean, we did mention a couple names before the start of this. Obviously, we are looking at Sinners on the CT side of Anubis, and it's not the easiest of CT sides to open. I mean, you still get some possibilities, but it's not like it's an overpass, for example. Still, you need Oscar. You need the individuals, at least for the second half. And that's a lot more like it. Zetko and Quirts started off, at least ended with a bang, at least ended on a 6-6 tied-up game, which, considering the fact that we are currently on the most T-sided map in the pool, could be considered a big success for Sinners if they're able to level things up, especially on such a low buy in the final round.
Still though, no mistakes. Can't overface, can't give. And like Perks here, too easy an opportunity. Quirts is just jiggling. And that's going to help a lot. Zetko's doing a lot of work. One for Perks, but surely the trade. And now it's all on Panics. 1 on 4. Granted, it's just B-Stick on the site, but that's all they need. 6 apiece, close as can be. And finally, a close game. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. Really competitive. And now, if we had to actually find out what the bottom line is at the end of that first half, I feel like Sinners can actually be happy with it, right? I mean, they go for their typical tactical timeout before a second pistol round, before a T-sided pistol round, by the way. Something that they love doing. But getting back to the point, yes, it was a little bit scrappy. Yes, there was a lot of times where you'd argue that they could have approached the situation differently. But at the end of the day, you get 6 rounds on the CT side here. This is not terrible. It's absolutely not bad, especially if you're able to get the second pistol round here on the T side. Of course, you're putting a lot of thought behind it with the tactical timeout coming in. Tom Keys loves doing that, and Sinners have been doing it for a couple months now, I feel like. If you get this, you get the conversion, a nice little lead. You could run away with this one.
It's also in, it changes between events with halftime pauses or not. And sometimes you have a procedure of a lot of people like to, a very common one is you'll just list out the player positions just before half to remind everybody. And maybe a bit of a chat on pistol and first going round, who knows. But I respect it. Take your time. And as we keep saying, you do not want to be in that lower bracket. You do not want to throw away an opportunity here to clean up the map. And Perks has grasped that opportunity with 2 hands. Unfortunately, his teammate, the lone defender on B, can't say the same for him. Bomb surely planted soon.
Oh, Oscar tapping away. Tack comes in. Quartz, what is that? The 360 lands him a kill. And he's still low on HP, still dancing around the bomb side. Perks finally takes him down. They can get onto the bomb. They don't have a kid, though. And the kills are coming in favor of the T's. Another tap. Beastic shows himself, but it's such an uncomfortable position. They need to clear him out. They need to find the kills. Bob, Oscar, and Beastic, they're just trying to stop them from getting on that bomb. Oscar will have to try and get the player off of it, but he can't do it. Perks with the final one, and Speedy has more than enough time for the defuse.
Ace for Perks. Ace. That's unbelievable. Amazingly low fragging game as well for everybody. So low enough that I question the scoreboard, but must have been a lot of saves. A lot of saves.
Yeah, we're 13 rounds in, and we don't have a lot of people that are even up to double digits.
We'll assume it's right. Benefit of the doubt for now.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting. Yeah, it must have been a colossal number of saves, and then equally when T-side winning round, they must have been, 4 or 5 alive a lot of the time. Anyway, this sort of thing happens.
It's also the fact that the kill distribution is fairly nice. I mean, you have 3 people on 9 kills and 1 on 8 for alternate attacks right now.
It's hard to know who won the pistol with this buy.
It is, yeah. Although you see the alligator is usually a sign of having a lot of money. Yeah.
It's
Only
good though for
affluent
Sinners.
people.
It's definitely good though for Sinners. Couple AKs in the mix. Just got to clear the shoddy. Here we go. Shock up first. Zedko is close behind. Shots rattled off. Trade is good. Bomb spotted though.
You have a molly.
Yeah. Gonna hand on freeze as well. Flash is there just before. The flash is good, but just can't get a good connection. Feet being toasted in the meantime. Spiddy can't help. And maybe, just maybe, a save call should already be flying in. Sinners making good on that force buy. This is panic stations for alternate attacks.
Yeah, you gotta hold on. It's a massive investment as well from Panics, by the way, bringing in the AVP in round number 2. And the Sinners, they've been able to bounce back really nicely into both the first and the second half now. And the second one, they didn't even give alternate attacks the time to get 2 or 3 rounds on the board before winning it. I feel like if you're on the CT side, you can feel a bit hard done by it because the MP9 gets set up really nicely to go for the peak, even though the player was burning. They could have easily gotten at least away with 1 kill. Connection, not good enough. And then the second player with the famous tags down 2 and doesn't get a single one and gets spammed through the smoke later on. So a lot of fights that could have went in favor of alternate attacks, I feel like, would have it been enough to win them the round in the first place? Probably not. But it would have been enough to justify at least a retake attempt from the final 2 players.
It's got to be said, in terms of hardest rounds to play in Counter-Strike, second round CT side, Anubis after your opposing team has got a plant. It really is that hard.
And they want to execute A.
So difficult. Because you just don't, unless you have a good stack or, you make good on your extra util. Yeah, the rifles are probably better for the T side. Granted, there was an AWP here, but, in terms of the difficulty of that round, and especially the influence it can have on a game, it is not easy to play. And look at now the disparity in the buy. Thank God that AWP was carried through, because Panic surely has to do work to make this round a possibility.
Yeah, and Freeze is dead. He's down to low HP. Whoa! What? He's lined him up. 3 HP. Switches to an AK. Freezy, what's going on? You should have been dead such a long time ago. He's doubled his kill count for the entire game in this round only. This is so ludicrous.
Added to the highlight reel. Added to the craziness, the carnage, the madness that is ensuing here on this day of Counter-Strike. You're not going to forget this one. Mad Monday. We're going to call it from now on. Shock wants fights. He is angry. The panics is even more. Alternate attacks, just as it looks like they're dead. Just as their money was about to be snapped.
No way
Freeze, ice cold as ever. Snaps their necks.
He was down to 3 HP before getting the first kill, by the way. He peeks through the smoke, through the nade, deals some damage, gets stacked down, goes for the repeat, mows down 2 players with the MP9, switches to the AK, insta headshot onto the third one, and then even gets number 4. That is absolutely atrocious. That's crazy. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be allowed to do that.
I need like
now, finally the T's have a worse buy.
I need like a clip that, you know, it has the bit before that where he's burning to death, and it pauses just before he swings, and it says, "Here are 17 options. Which one happens?" And then he's not even on there.
No. It's the Doctor Strange clip. You know, there's like a gazillion different possible outcomes, and only one of them is good for us, and only one we win. There it is.
This is game on now. I already thought Sinners had this map in the palm of their hands after getting a full, you know, winning a force by T-side Ancient, right? T-side Anubis right at the start of the half. Such a good map to carry that momentum, especially if you're building up cash. But this has changed. Now it's an eco. Should be 10 for alternate attacks on the defense, barring a pretty ridiculous round. And look at this one. I mean, this was not like invested here for Sinners. Just couldn't get, you know, couldn't get any traction at all. Complete mowdown.
Yeah, that's the thing though. On the T side, the first force buy after losing the pistol round, if you get a bomb plant, is going to be really good. But then if you lose the round after, if you win the force and you lose the conversion and you don't get a bomb plant, then your following up force buy is lacking a lot. A couple pistols, a couple rifles, and if it doesn't work out, you just get reset really late into the half, and we know how easy it is, especially in a game of CS2, especially with MR12s, to just lose control, lose track of what's going on the map. Freezy's just farming up kills at this point. He's up to 9, by the way. Let me remind you, he was on 3 kills at the end of the first half. Now he's on 9 and 12. He was on 3 and 11. That's been a crazy recovery from Freezy because of that 4K round. And alternate attacks right now are in a prime position to even close out the game. I mean, essentially, unless Sinners get a bomb plant, or if they don't get a bomb plant and they lose this round, you're looking at a 12-7 game.
It's those moments. Games pivot, tournaments pivot, brackets pivot. It's all still changing. And if I'm Sinners, and I still want to hope of winning this series, this round has to come good. We are running out of rope before we are dangling right in the jaws of Deco.
Oh!
Bit of a surprise. Trade, though, 4 on 4. I guess there's a bit of info here for alternate attacks. They know nobody else has come through A, so all in all, pretty even. And we'll see how Sinners move next.
Yeah, Sinners don't have a lot of util left on the T side, though. One smoke, and that was their last flash. They need to find their gaps and their space with pure firepower. Okay, they're kissing in the smoke. Who sees who first? It's Quartz to get the kill. Freezy goes down. Problem is, bomb is just now getting recovered, and they're actually moving back towards the B bomb side, and both alternate attacks players are here. Now, the bomb is still trying to make a decision, and I think they might be considering A, which would be the right choice, considering Speedy just found one bomb on the other side. Speedy's doubled up and doubled down, looking for a third. Quartz finally finds him, but do they know where Perks is as well? He found a kill previously. They seem to have an idea. They know he's not the A player for sure. Well, that late into the round, you don't expect him to be there. Missed the timing. Oh, that was so scary. But because of that, by the way, that might have worked out horribly right for him, because they're not going to be ready for him to be coming on the flank that early. He's so quick, and they have no clue. Look at him. He's a predator. chasing his spray, and they have no idea what's gonna hit them any moment now. Surely they don't turn around that quickly. Surely he's got at least one kill. Beastic is actually diligent enough to play towards the back of the side, and Beastic has found him on the headshot. He turns around just in the nick of time, and Sinners stay alive.
I'll give Spiddy some credit. That was an attempt. Holding it back, which is a little bit too far gone, especially after they lost that player in mid. Just so hard for aTTaX even to know where to load up the players, how to rotate. They didn't have the numbers. There's that clip again from Spiddy. If he drops the, that third player, then it's absolutely game on. That would have been bad news with the bomb drops in the open, but doesn't transpire. Alrighty, round 19. Sinners, they are on the stronger side. If they can force some ecos, this game can slip thick and fast for alternate aTTaX. Perks is alone. He's got util, but this is not an easy side to use it. That was a big choke point, and the players are out in front of it. Very aggressive. Double for Quirts. Oscar chimes in, and Sinners are silencing the critics. They are right back at it. Game on.
Now it's game on for sure. Those flashes were absolutely impeccable. It's a great call as well. You just go for a pretty tough to react to execute towards A, right? Because there was the moment that you spot the nades, there's players already running onto the bomb site. So you don't really have the time to rotate people back. You didn't really have enough time to use your protocol nades. It was just the first CT to deploy the Molotov. Camera player tries to be useful with some utility as well, but there's people already in front of his screen or on his screen. It's such a clean one as well. You just make them safe. You don't give them the feeling of even having a chance to have a say in the matter. 9-10, only one round separating those two sides now as we go into round number 20. Individually, we're yet to see the best out of Oscar, but let me tell you what, if everyone else is just hitting the shots, if Quirts is having that kind of a performance, if Zetko is performing well, if the takes and the calls are working out, they might not need him. That was a great spray transfer from Quirts. I didn't even realize that wasn't just him repositioning and just bursting both players. It was a full-on spray.
Money is gone for alternate aTTaX. Money is gone. They banked up so much in the process of their round wins here on the defense, but that is a bygone from here. Running out of room to move. And of course, guys, we are MR12. There's not long left to go in this map of Counter-Strike. It's going to be another A hit, and alternate aTTaX have bolstered the defense. Panics first be called upon. Flashbang just about catches him. Taken low, two players exploding through. It's awkward. It is an absolute mess. But the trades are good in the end. Another kill must be found over towards mid too. Oh no, it's actually on B on A as well. Even with the numbers, they can't hold. And the German side has to save. There's no other option.
Yeah, now this is a problem, right? Because you didn't get out called. You were ready for that round. You were ready. You had the perfect setup to deny it, right? You had the O posted on the angle. The second player had a flash, had a smoke, had a moldy, full kit of utility, full belt to support his teammate. But then the first shot of the AVP is a little bit off. I'm not sure if he was fully flashed. I think it was partial, but he couldn't connect into the first one. Tries to fall back. It's really messy. They stay alive for a long period of time, but then the refrags come in. And even with the rotation of the third player towards camera, alternate aTTaX just couldn't hold on. A lot of damage done once again to Quirts, Shock, and Oscar, but no kills going alternate aTTaX's way. And Alzig's going to be the only one holding on to his gun. The hunt was successful on one of the members, Speedy. I think it was the player to get taken down towards Temple. So now, if you're alternate aTTaX, it's a tough pill to swallow, but you might have to call off this round. It has to be a half by around the M4.
Well, it's hard to say when there isn't much scope left, but you've got to play the long game. You go in too early here, and we're sacking buys down the line. We're not getting an AWP out onto Panics, who has had a pretty good series. To give him a lot of credit. Sinners are spooling up, man. They are spooling up. It looks so good in the last few. Quirts has been a monster. He is so good at making space.
Yeah,
especially on those set rounds.
Multi-kills have been...
Yeah, I mean, I think his role, it makes in a default, is normally to play a bit slower, but when he's thrown in first on those fast hits, when they're getting explosive, he does disgusting things.
Yeah. I feel like this is... Oh, Breezy's been seen. I feel like those are the options that we talked about at the start with Sinners. The fact that you have so many riflers that can do a lot of different things. So you can sometimes have him mid of the pack, sometimes have him going first, and he's going to be able to do a really good job in that. I feel like you can say that about a couple other members on that lineup as well. In the meantime, though, this round, one of the cleanest ones we've seen so far. It's a great triple from Beastic on the hold, and Quirts finally loses a fight, by the way, but this is a fight that doesn't really make that big of a difference. Perks is going to go down any moment now, tries to get a double, but it's not going to happen. The P250 of Oscar puts him to sleep. It's 11 on the board for the Sinners. This buy round for aTTaX is a do or die. You get it over the line, you win it here. The game is leveled up once again. You lose, though, and you might be out of the fight. You might be going down that lower bracket. You might be going right into the hands of the opened arms of Deku and Aurora, which is not something I really thought I was going to be saying after just one round of the double LM. But hey, Deku's down there, and he's hungry.
There's some fight left in them. aTTaX wants a fight, and there it goes. Wow, they wanted to get aggressive, they wanted to make a move, but Oscar's flash is from the heavens. Crushes them under his might. It can't actually commit to A, but look what it's done to the rotations. Bomb is being thrusted up through dark and onto this B-bomb site. And they're going to have to make a very, very tough decision soon about whether to attempt this retake or not.
They're going for it. Question is, does Beastic turn around? Does he hold towards his right-hand side? Do they clear him out, by the way? This might as well get overlooked. And now he's going to start holding. Oh, he's made a step. They've hurt him, but he still wins the first fight. Regardless, Beastic going for a second, but surely that's done enough to seal the deal. In a 2 versus 3, now the element of surprise is gone. You have to save. Sinners, they go up to 12, and Freezy and Speedy are the only 2 left that can hold on to any significant weaponry for potentially the last round of action here on Anubis.
Sinners could hunt, but they are so frightful of a ninja this late in the game.
Yeah, it's not the right time to go for a hunt, right? You don't really give a damn. You want to make sure the round is
Well, you want to get rid of their guns, but oh my lord, it would be unthinkable if someone came out for a B main and stuck it right at the last moment. Alrighty. Well, you see in your top right, it has not been a close series in terms of, if you look at the maps in isolation, they've both been batterings. That second map in particular, 13 on the trots for Sinners. This map has been different. This map has been back and forth, but right in the dying embers, right in the last moment, Sinners are so close now to closing this map out. They've got buys in the tank as well. aTTaX have to win against 2 full investments in a row, even to make overtime.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Even mentally, you're not playing for victory anymore. You're just playing for extra rounds, and it's going to be Speed once again towards the A-bomb side. Perks on the other side manages to slow them down with the nade for now, but Oscar is on the other side of this angle. If they want to go for a peek, they're risking to give him a chance, a shot at an opening, and he doesn't miss quite a lot. Oh, they've seen each other. Smoke to slow him down for now. Sinners, they have all the time in the world, all the advantages. Zetko and Shock have taken some damage off of that nade, but Sinners, now they've slowed it down. They've made up their mind. It's going to be the B play. And Speedy and Alzek, they need to hold on with the M4 and the MP9.
Here we go. Nade drop, split to come. Ozek can't defend. Speedy is gone. It looks like all she wrote, unless aTTaX can do something incredible. And indeed he can't. 4 on 2, make it 4 on 1. Shock might have died, presumably to a Molotov. But this is enormous pressure on Perks' shoulders. 2 players here in dark alone. Double peak. Oscar to end it. That was a game of Counter-Strike. And Sinners, well, they didn't look great on the second map, but Anubis, right in the end, back in form and definitely worthy winners of this series.
Yeah, absolutely. Sinners moving into the upper bracket quarterfinals over aTTaX. And sadly for the Germans, after such a good performance on the first map, Alan, they would have to go down that lower bracket. Of course, it's double elimination, so they still have one more lifeline. But I'm afraid that one lifeline will see them face off against Aurora in their first